Hey guys, welcome back. So today's video is going to be focusing on directional decision making, and specifically understanding space values versus board position, and how to make decisions on which direction to go based on these competing values. The two things that you'll primarily want to be looking at are the value of the space itself versus the value of your overall position on the board based on the direction that you take. So let's look at a few examples. Before I begin, I just want to point out this will be the first part of a three-part video series that's focusing on directional decision making and focusing on this concept of space values versus board position. So for part one of the video, we will be focusing on Horrorland. So let's get into our first example. Really quick, just for starters, that star that's currently in this area right here, let's just pretend that it's not there for the purposes of this video. This is just a freeze frame of one of the games that I started playing just to use as the background of this video. But again, for the purposes of this video, let's just pretend that the star is not right here and that all star portals are equal when discussing the concepts that I'm going to bring up. The first example I want to focus on is this bottom right fork over here, and let's say that you have one left on your roll. So if you go up, you land on the lucky space, and you go left, you land on the blue space. For this specific example, I want to focus on the second half of the game only for right now. We'll get back into what to do during the first half in a little bit, but this example is particularly pertinent during turns 16 through 30. So first, let's focus on space values. Going up and hitting the lucky space is going to be the better space value than going left and hitting the blue space. This is because the lucky space can provide anywhere between 7 to 20 coins, it can provide an item, or it can provide half off on the star, all of which are better values than the +3 coins that you'll get from landing on the blue space. Next, let's look at board position. Now, remember, we're focusing on the second half of the game. So this is really when it's important to be moving, buying triple dice, and collecting stars as quickly as possible. So, assuming you're low on items, going left to this blue space would be critical in making sure you reach this item shop so that you can collect a triple dice and kind of move on your way and keep with the overall tempo of the game. Going up and hitting this lucky would really be a hindrance to you, assuming that you have no items, because now you're stuck in this loop around where you have to go an additional 14 spaces before getting back around to this item shop, or you're going up, you can warp up, but again, without a key, this is particularly useless because this is really going to King Boo is really the only primary feature of warping up to the top of this board, unless there's a star positioned here or here. But again, going up without any items at all, you not only don't have a key, you don't have an acceleration item, which is bad in making plans and being able to collect stars and being able to keep up with the tempo of the game. So in this case, going left is going to usually be your best option because of the fact that you need to be passing this item shop, you need to be collecting an acceleration item, and you need to be moving along your way. The alternative value from the lucky space just isn't as high. You're taking about a 1 in 7 chance or worse of getting the triple dice for free, or getting another item which is not as beneficial to you, or getting coins, a maximum of 20, in which you would still be left without an item in a very awkward position on the board. Now, if you have a triple dice already, then this equation changes a little bit. If we look at star portals, there are 4 closer to this space and 4 closer to this space, so it's kind of an even wash. So as we can see, the 4 that are closer to this blue space are the ones here, 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 and all the way up here. The 4 that are closer to this lucky space are the ones here, or if you warp up, you can get one here, here, or here. At this point, you'll still want to go left because you can make your way up to this item shop after already passing this item shop and get a key up here. If you go up here this way and warp without a key, you're getting up to the top of the board without that key, which isn't quite as good. It's a minor point, but remember, you want to be capitalizing on King Boo as well as many times as possible. Also, it really depends on where the star is in general. If the star is not in any of these star portals, then it really doesn't making a whole lot of sense to go up, especially without that key. If your plan is to hit the lucky space for extra value, and then go around, this loop around right here, remember, you want to be moving as quickly as possible in the second half, and this is kind of hedging your bets and just wasting time overall. It's much better to just kind of cut out this value that you're going to get from the lucky space, stick to your plan, and stay on tempo. The beginning of the game may be different because there's more time, and you may want to take the lucky space to help build your bankroll or item inventory, and then kind of see where you are from there. You have to balance this with getting more laps around the board, because, if you take the lucky space, that is technically sacrificing the value that you're going to get from being able to move around the board more times. So it really depends on your style of play. If you want to go slow, build your bankroll or your item inventory, see how the game plays out, and then start to move faster during the second half of the game, that's totally fine. If you want to just try to take as many laps around as possible, get more trips to King Boo, that's also a style that you can play. Either are kind of okay in the first half of the board. Again, it really just depends on what your strategy is going in. The next example that I want to look at is this top left fork where the Womp is. Now for this example, we're going to assume that it's day so that you can actually move the Womp and go either direction. And then let's assume that there's 2 left on your roll. So going right, you'll land on this blue space, or going up or to the left, you'll land on this lucky space. Now, again, the lucky space is the better space value. And it's for the same reasons as this example down here, because these are the same 2 specific spaces, the blue space and the lucky space. So let's kind of skip over the space value and move to the board position. Firstly, you'll want to be making sure that you're making your way to King Boo in this position, depending, obviously, if you have a key. If you have a key, you're going to want to go right and take this blue space, because, again, the board position gets you 5 spaces closer to King Boo, which is an overall better value than hitting this lucky space, which might give you about half of the value as King Boo, but keep you 5 spaces back, in which you might miss out on the surplus of a value, which is the overall better play. If you don't have any items at all, you're still going to want to go right. The reason for this is that it's only 1 space further going this way and getting to this item shop here than it is if you were on this lucky space and you were to warp down and go around to this item shop over here. Now, why take the extra space? Don't you want to save time? Yes, but it's actually a much better position to start with an acceleration item after this item shop at this bottom right stretch than to not get it until you pass this item shop, in which you're over here, and now you're not in quite a good board position while holding that triple dice. The reason for this is that in this bottom right stretch, all 8 star portals are within reach of your triple dice. So we have going around here to this one, 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 going around here. This is a bit of a farther one to this one, but still within range. Warping up to this one, warping up to this one, and then this is the other one that's really far, so it might not be the specific play at that turn, but you're still going to be closer to it than any other position that you'd be in. That just makes going past this item shop and being in this stretch with the triple dice the much better play. That's why you're going to want to hit this blue space over this lucky space and sacrifice the extra turn. Now, if you have an acceleration item but no key, that's when you're going to want to go left and hit the lucky space. because then, when I say acceleration item, I mean specifically the triple. Maybe you can make an argument for the mushroom or the double, but really, if we're in the second half of the game here, we're going to want to be collecting triple dice. Now, the reason that with the triple dice already in your pocket, you're one with the lucky, is because at that point, you can just warp down and be in this bottom right stretch without having to pass this item shop. And the board position is actually better over here because you'll save time, in addition to getting the extra value from the lucky space, so it's actually a much better move. So remember, if you have the triple and no key, go left, take the better space value, and take the better board position by being able to warp down with a triple dice already in your pocket. The last example that I want to focus on this middle fork down here. So for this specific example, let's say that you have 4 left on your roll, and let's say that this bank here has 50 coins. I know it's a 0, but work with me. Let's hypothetically say it is 50 coins. So for this specific example, you have no items in your pocket. Just to make it a little bit more interesting, what do you do? So let's start with space values. The space value going left is going to be plus 50 coins. The space value going right is going to be minus 3. That's a pretty large disparity. So just off that alone, you're going to be most likely wanting to take the left path, but in order to be thorough in this example, let's also look at the board position aspect of it. Going right actually gives you the slightly better board position because of the fact that you'll be able to hit this item shop and get a triple going down into this stretch 6 spaces faster than if you went left and you went up to this item shop and then had to warp down getting into the same position. So you're getting a 6 space surplus by going right and hitting this red space. But the problem is those 6 spaces aren't worth the 53 coin disparity of getting a plus 50 over a minus 3. So in that case, you're going to want to swallow the 6 spaces, go left, take your 50 coins, and then move on your way and get back on track. I should point out that all of these situations are variable depending on whether there's a star in your immediate path. Just be careful with this, because if you go to a position that is unfavorable for all of the other general reasons in terms of board position, and then the star ends up getting chomped, or somebody else ends up taking it from you, or you end up getting a dud or low roll, and then somebody else kind of takes it afterwards, you're going to be stuck in that bad board position without having gotten the star, and you're just going to be overall worse off. So just be careful with this. Again, I get it. There's stars that pop up, right in front of your face, and you're thinking, okay, it looks like nobody has a chomp call. It really looks like nobody's in a position to get it. I should go, take the space that's 4 or 5 away from the star and, play my odds on the next turn. Again, just be careful with this for all of the other reasons, again, including somebody being able to move the star, somebody being able to get the star, or you not being able to roll high enough and somebody being able to move it or get it on the following turn. So I just wanted to add that in there as, a variable to consider when making your overall moves on directional decision making. So those are kind of just 3 minor examples just to give everybody a little taste of directional decision making and how to weigh those 2 factors of space value versus board position. So I want to go more in depth in my next video. I'm going to focus on a different board. I'm not going to tell you guys which it is yet because I'm not quite sure myself. It'll probably be Spaceland, but I'll get more into that as I'm making my next video. If you liked today's video, please drop a like, comment, subscribe, and share with as many people as you want. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys soon.